Captain Jinho stood on the bridge of the UES Determination and watched the massive alien space station grow larger on the main screen. The station was huge, bigger than any city on Earth. It had long metal arms that stretched out like a spider, and bright lights that blinked in patterns he did not understand. "Captain, we are getting a signal from the station," said Mira from her position at the navigation console. She was young, but very good at her job. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she worked. "Put it on the main screen," Jinho said. He straightened his uniform and made sure he looked ready for this important meeting. This was humanity's first real talk with the aliens who called themselves the Galactic Dominion. The screen changed, and suddenly they were looking at a creature that made some of the crew step back. It had green, scaly skin, yellow eyes that looked like a snake's, and sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was deep and sounded like rocks grinding together. "I am Commander Vexthul of the Saurian Empire. You will dock at Bay 7 and come aboard. Immediately. Do not bring weapons." Jinho nodded. "We understand. We come in peace and want to talk." The alien's eyes narrowed. "All new species say they come in peace. We will see if you speak the truth." 20 minutes later, Jinho walked through the alien station with 3 of his crew. Doyun, his weapons officer, stayed close to his right side. The man was built like a soldier and always watched for danger. Hana, his chief engineer, walked behind them, her eyes wide as she looked at all the strange alien technology. The hallways were huge, built for creatures much bigger than humans. The walls had a strange blue glow, and the air smelled like metal, and something else they could not name. Other aliens passed them in the halls. Some looked like giant insects. Others had too many arms, and one group looked like walking trees. "They are all looking at us," Mira whispered. "Let them look," Jinho said quietly. "We have nothing to hide." They entered a massive room with a high ceiling. In the center was a large table, and around it sat the strangest collection of beings Jinho had ever seen. At the head of the table sat a creature that was clearly in charge. It had purple skin, 4 arms, and wore clothes that sparkled with jewels. "I am Chancellor Krextor," the purple alien said. Its voice was smooth, like oil. "Welcome to Dominion space, humans. We have heard interesting things about your species." Jinho stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Thank you for meeting with us. I am Captain Jinho of Earth. We hope to build friendship between our peoples." Several aliens around the table made sounds that might have been laughter. Chancellor Krextor raised one of its 4 hands for silence. "Friendship," it said slowly. "Yes, the young species always speak of friendship. Tell me, Captain Jinho, what do you know of how the galaxy works?" "We know there are many species, and you seem to be the most powerful group," Jinho said carefully. "We are not just powerful. We are the law," Commander Vexthul said, his snake-like eyes fixed on the humans. "For 1,000 years, the Dominion has brought order to this galaxy. New species like yours have 2 choices: join us or be destroyed." The room went very quiet. Jinho felt his crew tense up behind him, but he kept his face calm. What does joining you mean exactly? Chancellor Krextor smiled, showing sharp teeth. Simple. You give us control of your military. You pay taxes to the Dominion. You follow our laws. In return, we protect you from the dangers of space. And if we say no? Jinho asked. The purple alien's smile got wider. No one says no, Captain. Oh, some try to fight at first, but they all learn. The galaxy is too dangerous for small species to survive alone. Doyen stepped forward slightly. Jinho could tell his weapons officer was getting angry. Captain, Doyen said quietly, we need to tell them about the attacks on our colonies. Chancellor Krextor's 4 eyes focused on Doyen. Attacks? What attacks? Jinho took a deep breath. This was the real reason they had come. 3 months ago, ships attacked human colonies at Kepler 442 and Ross 128. The ships looked like yours. 50,000 humans died. The room exploded with noise. Aliens talked loudly in languages the humans could not understand. Commander Vex Thul slammed his clawed hand on the table. You dare accuse the Dominion of attacking you? Vex Thul hissed. We do not attack species before we contact them. Maybe you do not, Jinho said calmly. But someone with your ships did. We have proof. Chancellor Krextor raised all 4 hands for silence again. When the room was quiet, he leaned forward. Show us this proof. Jinho nodded to Doyen, who pulled out a small device. He placed it on the table, and suddenly the air above it filled with light that formed pictures. The aliens gasped as they saw images of destroyed human cities and burned ships. This is wreckage from the attacking ships, Doyen said. The metal matches Dominion technology exactly. The weapon signatures are the same as your military uses. Commander Vex Thul stood up quickly, his chair scraping on the floor. Impossible! No Dominion ships have gone to your space. Then explain this, Hana said quietly. She touched the device, and new pictures appeared. These showed space, and in that space floated the broken pieces of many ships. This is the Arcturus system, right next to human space. We found 47 destroyed Dominion ships there. The silence in the room was complete. Every alien stared at the floating pictures. Chancellor Krextor's purple skin seemed to get darker. That is Admiral Korthvan's fleet, whispered one of the aliens at the table. They went missing 6 months ago. Missing? Jinho said. They attacked us. We fought back. Commander Vex Thul's snake eyes went wide. You destroyed an entire Dominion. Battle fleet? We defended ourselves, Jinho said simply. You attacked us. We had no choice. Chancellor Krextor stood up slowly. All 4 of his arms were shaking. A battle fleet, 47 ships, the most advanced warships in the galaxy. And you... We survived, Jinho finished. And we came here to tell you that humans do not want war. But if you attack us again, we will fight back again. The room erupted again, but this time the aliens sounded scared instead of angry. Commander Vex Thul's claws scraped on the table as he leaned forward. You cannot have destroyed Admiral Korthvan's fleet. It is impossible. Your species is new. Your technology is primitive. Doyen smiled for the first time since entering the room. Maybe you should ask Admiral Korthvan about... Oh wait, you cannot, he is dead. Chancellor Krextor's 4 arms moved in strange patterns. This meeting is over. Guards, escort these humans back to their ship. As alien soldiers surrounded them, Jinho looked directly at the Chancellor. We came here to make peace. We showed you the truth. What you do next will decide if our species are friends or enemies. There are no enemies of the Dominion, Chancellor Krextor said coldly. Only those who serve and those who die. Jinho smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Then I guess you are about to meet your first real enemy. As the guards pushed them toward the door, Mira whispered, Captain, did we just start a war? Jinho watched the aliens at the table talking frantically among themselves. Many of them looked scared. No, Mira. I think the war started when they attacked our colonies. We just told them we know how to fight back. The humans were escorted to their ship in silence. As the Determination moved away from the station, Jinho stood on the bridge and looked back at the massive structure. Set course for Earth, he told Mira. Maximum speed. Yes, Captain. Should I send a message to Earth Command? Jinho nodded grimly. Tell them the talks failed. Tell them the Dominion thinks they can force us to surrender, and tell them... He paused, thinking of the scared faces of the aliens in that room. Tell them to get ready. This galaxy is about to learn what happens when you attack humans. As the Determination jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving the alien station behind, none of the humans saw the emergency signals being sent from the station to every corner of Dominion space. The message was simple. The humans are dangerous. Prepare for war. Admiral Seung-ho looked out the window of the United Earth Council building and watched the ships in orbit above Earth. There were hundreds of them now, all preparing for what was coming. At 67 years old, he had lived through 3 wars. On Earth, but nothing like this. The Dominion has sent messages to every human colony, said Yuna as she entered his office. The intelligence officer was young but very smart. She carried a tablet with information that made Seung-ho's stomach feel heavy. They want us to surrender in 30 days or they will attack. Seung-ho turned from the window. What do our spies tell us about their forces? Yuna touched her tablet, and numbers appeared in the air above it. They have over 10,000 warships. Their technology is more advanced than ours in most ways. They have ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. But? Seung-ho asked. He could hear something in Yuna's voice. But they have never fought anyone like us, Yuna said. She touched the tablet again, and the numbers changed to show pictures of different alien species. Every species they have conquered follows the same pattern. The Dominion shows up with a big fleet. There is a battle. The other species realizes they cannot win and surrenders. Seung-ho sat down at his desk and studied the information. And then what? Then the defeated species becomes part of the Dominion. They pay taxes, follow Dominion laws, and their military serves the Dominion. In return, they get protection and trade. It sounds almost reasonable, Seung-ho said quietly. Yuna shook her head. Only if you like being a slave. The Dominion takes the best planets. They control all trade. If a species tries to rebel, they destroy one of their worlds as an example. The door to the office opened, and Dr. Taywin walked in. The scientist looked tired. He had been working day and night to study the alien technology from the destroyed Dominion ships. "Admiral, we need to talk," Taywin said. He set down a box full of strange metal pieces. "I have been studying the aliens and I found something important." Seung-ho pointed to a chair. "Sit down and tell me." Taywin sat and pulled out a piece of metal that was twisted and burned. "This is from a Dominion ship's control room. But look at this." He showed them another piece that was smooth and undamaged. "This is from their weapons systems." "I do not understand," Yuna said. "The control room was destroyed by fire and explosions, but the weapons were turned off and undamaged. The ship surrendered." Seung-ho leaned forward. "You mean they gave up in the middle of the fight?" "Exactly," Taewon said excitedly. "And it was not just one ship. I found the same thing on 12. Different ships. They fought for a while, took some damage, and then surrendered." Yuna frowned. "But our people said the battle lasted 3 hours. The aliens kept fighting until their ships were destroyed." "No," Taewon said. "They kept fighting until they decided they could not win. Then they tried to surrender. But our people did not understand their surrender signals, so the fighting continued until the alien ships were destroyed." Seung-ho stood up and walked to the window again. In space above Earth, he could see human ships practicing attack formations. "What does this tell us about the aliens?" "They are not like us," Taewon said. "When humans fight, we fight until we win or die. These aliens fight until they decide the cost is too high, then they surrender. That makes sense if you rule a galaxy," Yuna added. "You cannot afford to lose too many ships in every battle. Better to surrender and fight another day." Seung-ho nodded slowly. "But what happens when they fight someone who will not let them surrender?" Before anyone could answer, the doctor opened again. A young woman in a ship captain's uniform walked in. This was Minji, the youngest ship captain in the human fleet. At 28, she had already proven herself in several battles with space pirates. "Admiral, I heard about the Dominion's ultimatum," Minji said. "I want to volunteer for something." "Volunteer? For what?" Seung-ho asked. Minji smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "I want to take my ship deep into Dominion space and show them what humans do when someone threatens us." Yuna looked shocked. "That would be suicide. One ship against their entire fleet?" "Maybe," Minji said. "But think about what Dr. Taewon just told us. They expect us to surrender when the cost gets too high. What if we show them that humans never surrender?" Seung-ho studied the young captain. "What exactly are you suggesting? Give me the fastest ship you have and a crew that thinks like me. Let us go into their space and cause problems, attack their supply ships, destroy their communications, make them chase us. Show them that humans do not follow their rules, Doctor." Taewon was nodding excitedly. "It could work. If their psychology is based on cost and benefit, then we need to show them that fighting humans always costs more than they expect." One ship cannot defeat their entire fleet, Yuna said. We do not need to defeat their fleet, Minji replied. We just need to make them afraid. Fear makes people make mistakes. Seung-ho walked back to his desk and sat down. You would be flying into the heart of enemy territory with no support. If you get in trouble, we cannot help you. Minji's smile got bigger. Admiral, my grandmother used to say something. She said, if we launch, we do not return. We go forward until we win. I think it is time the galaxy learned that about humans. Your grandmother sounds like a wise woman, Seung-ho said. But this is not just about being brave. If we do this wrong, it could start a war that destroys Earth. Admiral, Minji said seriously, the war has already started. The Dominion attacked our colonies and killed 50,000 people. Now they want us to surrender or they will kill more. We can either wait for them to come to us, or we can show them that humans fight back. Yuna looked at her tablet again. If Captain Minji is right about their psychology, then a small force that refuses to surrender could cause big problems for them. Their whole system depends on enemies being reasonable. And humans are not reasonable when we are angry, Dr. Taewon added. Seung-ho was quiet for a long moment. He thought about the 50,000 dead humans on the colony worlds. He thought about the Dominion's demand for surrender. He thought about what would happen if Earth became just another slave world in their empire. Captain Minji, if I give you this mission, you will need crew members who think like you, people who understand that they might not come home. I already have 2 in mind, Minji said. Hyun-soo is the best tactical officer in the fleet. He thinks like a chess player, always planning 3 moves ahead. And Ji-won is an engineer who can make a ship do things it was not designed to do. Both good choices, Seung-ho said. He had worked with both officers before, but I want to make something clear. This is not a suicide mission. I want you to hurt them and come back alive. Dead heroes cannot win wars. Minji nodded. Understood, Admiral. We will hit them hard and fast, then disappear before they can respond. We will make them chase shadows while we plan our next attack. Seung-ho stood up and walked to a wall that had a map of the galaxy on it. The Dominion controlled most of it, shown in red. Human space was a tiny blue dot near the edge. The ship will be the UES Persistence. It is our newest and fastest. The crew will be volunteers only. Thank you, Admiral, Minji said. Do not thank me yet, Seung-ho replied. You are going to be alone in enemy space with orders to make the most powerful empire in the galaxy angry. When they come looking for you, there will be nowhere to hide. Minji stood up and saluted. Then we will make sure they cannot catch us. After Minji left, Yuna looked at Seung-ho with worried eyes. Admiral, are we really going to start a war over one ship? Seung-ho looked back at the map. The red area seemed so much bigger than the blue. Yuna, the war already started when they killed our people. Captain Minji is right about one thing. We can either wait for them to come to us with 10,000 ships, or we can go to them and show them what humans are really like. And what are humans really like? Dr. Taewon asked. Seung-ho smiled grimly. We are the species that came from a world where everything tried to kill us. And we not only survived, but conquered our entire planet. We are persistence hunters who never stop chasing prey. And most importantly, we are the only species in this galaxy that gets more dangerous when we are losing. He pointed to the tiny blue dot on the map. The Dominion thinks they can force us to surrender because that is how every other species behaves. But they do not understand humans yet. We do not surrender. We do not give up. If we launch, we do. Not return until we win. Yuna was quiet for a moment. What if Captain Minji fails? What if one ship is not enough? Then we send 10 ships, Seung-ho said. And if 10 ships are not enough, we send 100. And if 100 are not enough, we send every human in the galaxy, because that is what humans do. We keep going until we win, or there are no more humans left to fight. Dr. Taewon collected his alien technology samples. I will keep studying their weaknesses. If Captain Minji is going to fight them, she will need every advantage we can give her. As the scientist left, Seung-ho and Yuna stood looking at the galaxy map. The red area still looked huge compared to the blue dot. Admiral, Yuna said quietly, do you really think we can win? Seung-ho thought about his grandmother, who had lived through the worst war in Earth's history. She had always said that humans were at their best when things looked hopeless. Yuna, the Dominion has ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years because no one has ever really fought them. The UES Persistence moved through space like a ghost. Captain Minji watched the star map on her main screen and smiled. They were now 500 light-years deep in Dominion territory, farther than any human ship had ever gone. Captain, we have a target, said Hyun-soo from his position at the tactical station. The man was thin and quiet, but his mind worked like a computer when it came to planning attacks. Dominion supply convoy, 12 ships, heading for the Rigel system. Minji walked over to look at his screen. How many escort ships? 4 warships. But they are old models. The rest are cargo ships carrying food and weapons to Dominion bases. Ji-won looked up from her engineering station. Captain, if we hit the convoy, we can be gone before their escort ships even know what happened. My modifications to the engines will let us jump to faster than light speed in 10 seconds instead of 30. Any risks? Minji asked. Ji-won grinned. The engines might explode and kill us all, but probably not. Probably not is good enough for me, Minji said. She had been working with Ji-won for 2 years and trusted the engineer completely. Hyun-soo, what is your plan? Hyun-soo touched his screen, and a 3-dimensional image appeared in the air above his station. It showed the convoy moving through space and the Persistence approaching from an unexpected angle. We come in from above the convoy, where their sensors are weakest. We target the escort ships first with our new plasma torpedoes. While they are trying to figure out what hit them, we destroy the cargo ships. Total attack time, 3 minutes. And then we disappear, Minji added. I like it. Begin approach. The Persistence moved silently toward the Dominion convoy. Minji felt her heart beating faster as they got closer. This was their 15th attack in 3 weeks, but it never got easier. One mistake and they would be dead. 2 minutes to attack. Range, Hyun-soo reported. All systems ready, Ji-won said. Engines are running hot. just the way we like them. Target the lead escort ship first, Minji ordered. If we take out their commander quickly, the others will be confused. The Persistence suddenly appeared next to the convoy like a predator jumping on its prey. The first Dominion escort ship exploded before it could even send a warning signal. The second ship tried to turn toward them, but another torpedo hit it. In the engine section, cargo ships are trying to scatter, Hyunsu reported, his fingers flying over his controls. Targeting the largest one. The huge cargo ship broke apart in a bright flash of light. The remaining escort ships finally started shooting back, but the Persistence was already moving, twisting through space in patterns that made no sense to the alien commanders. Third escort ship is running, Jiwon laughed. They are not even trying to fight anymore. Let them go, Minji said. We want survivors to tell their friends what happened. Target the remaining cargo ships. In less than 3 minutes, 8 ships were destroyed, and the convoy was nothing but floating metal and fire. The 2 surviving escort ships raced away, at maximum speed, already sending frantic messages to Dominion Command. Jump us out of here, Minji ordered. The Persistence vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving only wreckage behind. 6 hours later, they sat in empty space between star systems, monitoring Dominion communications. Ji-won had built special equipment that could listen to alien radio signals without being detected. They are very upset, Ji-won reported with a smile. Admiral Zeftal has been put in charge of hunting us. He has 200 ships. 200? Hyunsu whistled. They really want us dead. Good, Minji said. The more ships they send after us, the fewer ships they have to attack Earth. What else are they saying? Ji-won adjusted her equipment. They call us the ghost ship because we appear and disappear so quickly. Some of their captains are saying, we must have new technology that makes us invisible. We are not invisible, Minji said. We are just faster and smarter than they are. Hyunsu was studying the star map. Captain, I have been thinking about our next target. What if we hit something that really makes them angry? What do you have in mind? The communication relay at Vega Prime. It connects 50 different Dominion worlds. If we destroy it, half their fleet will not be able to talk to each other. Minji considered this. How heavily defended? 12 warships and a space station with heavy weapons. It will be our most dangerous target yet. Ji-won looked excited. I can modify our shields to absorb more damage, but only for about 5 minutes. After that, we better be somewhere else. Do it, Minji decided, but we change our tactics. Instead of hit and run, we go in fast and fight our way out. Show them that humans are not afraid of a real battle. 3 days later, the Persistence dropped out of faster-than-light travel right next to the Vega Prime communication station. The Dominion ships around the station were not ready for an attack, and the first 2 ships exploded before they could. Raise their shields. Station is targeting us with heavy plasma cannons, Hyunsu reported as the ship shook from weapons fire. Shields are holding. Return fire on the station, Minji ordered. Take out their communications first. The Persistence twisted through space, firing at everything around it. 3 more Dominion ships exploded, but now the remaining ships were fighting back hard. Energy bolts filled the space around them. Shields down to 60%, Ji-won called out. 5 minutes until complete failure. Target the stations. Main reactor, Minji said. If we cannot destroy it completely, we can at least shut it down. Hyunsu fired their most powerful weapon directly at the heart of the space station. The explosion was so bright that the main screen went dark for several seconds. When it cleared, the station was dark and dead. Station is destroyed, but we have 7 enemy ships still fighting, Hyunsu reported. Time to go, Minji said. Jiwon, get us out of here. But as the Persistence tried to jump to faster than light speed, nothing happened. Engine problem, Jiwon said, her voice tight with worry. The station damaged our jump drive with its last shot. I need 2 minutes to fix it. We do not have 2 minutes, Minji said as more energy bolts hit their ship. Shields down to 40%. Then we fight, Hyunsu said simply. All weapons, full power. The Persistence stopped running and turned to face the 7 Dominion, ships like a cornered animal. Minji felt a strange calm come over her. This was what humans did when trapped. They fought harder. Target the closest ship, she ordered. If we are going to die, we take as many of them with us as we can. The battle became a deadly dance in space. The Persistence was smaller and faster than the Dominion ships, but they had more weapons and thicker armor. Energy bolts and explosions filled the darkness. Got one, Hyunsu said with satisfaction as another enemy ship broke apart. Shields down to 20%, Jiwon reported. But I think I can fix the jump drive in 30 more seconds. A massive explosion rocked the ship and sparks flew from several control panels. Direct hit on our weapons, Hyunsu said. We have lost half our firepower. 15 more seconds, Jiwon said, working frantically on her controls. Another enemy. Ship exploded, but now there were still 5 ships attacking them, and the Persistence was badly damaged. Got it! Jiwon shouted. Jump drive is working! Jump us out now, Minji ordered. The Persistence vanished just as the 5 remaining Dominion ships fired all their weapons at where it had been. In the silence that followed, the Dominion captains looked at the wreckage of their station and their dead ships. Later, Admiral Zeftal stood in his command center and stared at the reports from Vega Prime. His scaled face showed no emotion, but inside he was furious. 1 ship, he said to his aide. 1 human ship destroyed our most important communication station and 5 of our best warships. Yes, Admiral, and they escaped again. Zeftal turned to look at a map that showed all the places the human ship had attacked. There were 23 red marks scattered across Dominion space. How many ships have we lost to this 1 enemy vessel? The aide checked his tablet. 47 ships destroyed, 16 damaged. They have also destroyed 6 supply bases, 3 communication stations, and 12 cargo convoys. And how many times have we damaged their ship? Once, Admiral. At Vega Prime. But our reports say they repaired the damage and continued attacking. Zeftal's claws scraped against the metal table. What are our captains saying? The aide looked uncomfortable. Some are saying the humans have technology we do not understand. Others think the ship is commanded by the best military mind in the galaxy. A few are saying... He paused. Say it. A few are saying that humans might be impossible to defeat, because they do not know when to give up. Zeftal was quiet for a long moment. In his 1,000 years of life, he had never seen anything like this. Enemy ships were supposed to retreat when they took damage. They were supposed to surrender when they were outnumbered. They were supposed to follow the rules of civilized warfare. "Admiral," the aide continued, "we have intercepted a human transmission. It was broadcast to all Dominion worlds. Show me." The air above the table filled with light, and suddenly they were looking at the bridge of the human ship. A young woman in a blue uniform looked directly at them with eyes that showed no fear. "This is Captain Minji of the UES Persistence," the woman said. "To all Dominion worlds, we want you to know something about humans. You attacked our colonies and killed our people. You told us to surrender or be destroyed." Dr. Taiwan sat in his laboratory on Earth, surrounded by pieces of alien technology and holographic displays showing brain scans of different species. He had been working for 3 months straight, trying to understand why the Dominion fought the way they did. "Computer, show me the fear response patterns again," he said. The air above his desk filled with colored images of alien brains. Each species showed the same pattern. When faced with overwhelming force, their brains released chemicals that made them want to submit and survive rather than fight and die. "Fascinating," Taiwan muttered to himself. "Their evolution made them smart enough to know when to give up." He pulled up another display, this one showing human brain patterns during combat. The colors were completely different. When humans faced overwhelming force, their brains released chemicals that made them fight harder, not surrender. "And we evolved to never give up," he said with a smile. "No wonder the Dominion does not understand us." His computer chimed with an incoming message. It was from Admiral Sung-ho. "Dr. Taiwan, report to the command center immediately. We have received an emergency signal from Captain Minji." Taiwan ran through the corridors of the military base, his heart pounding. The Persistence had been out of contact for 2 weeks while hiding in an asteroid field. If they were calling for help, something was very wrong. In the command center, Admiral Sang-ho and Yuna were staring at a large screen that showed a star map. There was a flashing red dot in the middle of Dominion space. "What is the situation?" Taiwan asked. "The Persistence is trapped in the Kepler expanse," Sung-ho said grimly. "Admiral Zeftal finally cornered them with 180 ships. Captain Minji managed to damage many of their vessels, but her ship is badly hurt." "How badly hurt?" Taiwan asked. Yuna answered while looking at her tablet. "Engines at 50% power. Weapons mostly destroyed. Life support failing. They cannot jump to faster than light speed. Can we send help?" "That is exactly what we are going to do," Sung-ho said. "Captain Jinho is taking a task force of 5 ships to rescue them. But 5 ships against 180. He did not finish the sentence. "Admiral," Taiwan said excitedly, "I need to tell Captain Jinho something important before he leaves. My research has found a way to use Dominion psychology against them." 20 minutes later, Captain Jinho stood in the briefing room with 4 other ship captains. His face was serious as he listened to Dr. Taiwan explain his discovery. "The key is fear," Taiwan said, pointing to brain scans on the wall screen. Dominion species are hardwired to retreat when they face an enemy that seems impossible to defeat. Their brains cannot handle the idea of fighting someone who will never surrender. Captain Hana raised her hand. She was now commanding her own ship, the UES Defiance. How do we use that against them? By being more aggressive than they think. Is possible, Taewon replied. Do not fight like you want to win. Fight like you do not care if you die. Their brains will interpret that as facing a superior enemy. Captain Doyen, who was now commanding the UES Relentless, looked skeptical. You want us to act crazy? Not crazy, Taewon said. Human. Show them what humans do when their friends are in danger. Charge directly at their biggest ships. Ram them, if you have to. Use your reactors as bombs. Do things that no rational military commander would ever do. Jinho was nodding slowly. Protocol Omega. The other captains looked at him with surprise. Protocol Omega was a desperate tactic that involved overloading a ship's fusion reactor to create an electromagnetic storm. It was supposed to be used only when defeat was certain. You want us to use Protocol Omega as an opening move? Hana asked. Why not? Jinho said with a grin. We are outnumbered 36-1. Any rational commander would retreat, so let us be irrational. 2 days later, the small human task force dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler expanse. In front of them was the largest fleet any human had ever seen. 180 Dominion warships surrounding a damaged. UES Persistence. Captain Minji, this is Captain Jinho, he said into his communication system. We are here to take you home. The reply was weak and full of static. Jinho, you crazy fool, what are you doing here? There are too many of them. Just enough for a fair fight, Jinho replied. All ships, prepare for Protocol Omega. On the bridge of the Dominion flagship, Admiral Zeftal watched the 5 human ships approaching his massive fleet. His scaled face showed confusion. 5 ships? He said to his aide. They brought 5 ships to fight my entire fleet? Yes, Admiral. They are approaching at full speed and making no attempt to hide. Zeftal studied the tactical display. Are they trying to surrender? No, Admiral. They are targeting our largest. Ships with all weapons! Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the Dominion fleet. The lead human ship was overloading its reactor, creating a massive electromagnetic storm that blinded sensors and disrupted communications across half the fleet. What are they doing? Zeftal demanded. Before anyone could answer, the UES Defiance rammed directly into a Dominion battleship at full speed. Both ships exploded in a ball of fire that lit up space for thousands of kilometers. Captain Hana! Jinho shouted over the communication system. She is gone, reported Captain Doyen from the Relentless. But she took their command ship with her. The electromagnetic storm from the first Protocol Omega spread through the Dominion fleet, causing ships to crash into each other as their navigation systems failed. In the chaos, the remaining human ships attacked like wolves, firing at point-blank range and ramming any ship that got too close. This is impossible, Zeftal said, watching his fleet tear itself apart. They are outnumbered 36-1. Why are they not retreating? Admiral, his aide said with fear in his voice, the humans are not trying to win. They are trying to kill as many of us as possible before they die. The UES Relentless exploded as it rammed a Dominion carrier, but not before Captain Doyen fired all his remaining torpedoes into the carrier's reactor core. The explosion destroyed 6 more ships that were too close. "Pull the fleet back," Zeftal ordered. "Get us away from these madmen." But it was too late. The electromagnetic storms had spread too far, and many Dominion ships could not receive the retreat order. They continued firing blindly in all directions, hitting their own ships as often as they hit the humans. Captain Jinho's ship, badly damaged but still fighting, managed to reach the Persistence. "Minji, can you move?" "Barely," came the reply. "But I can still fight." "No more fighting today," Jinho said. "G1, can you fix their jump drive?" "Give me 5 minutes," G1 replied from the engineering section of the Persistence. Those 5 minutes felt like hours as the 2 human ships fought desperately against the confused Dominion fleet. Ships exploded all around them, some Dominion, some human, and some that could no longer be identified. "Got it!" G1 finally shouted. "Jump drive is working! All human ships, jump to the rally point," Jinho ordered. The UES Persistence and Jinho's ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind a Dominion fleet that was more damaged by its own confusion than by enemy weapons. Admiral Zeftal stood in his command center and looked at the aftermath. Of his 180 ships, 57 were destroyed or too damaged to fight. The humans had brought 5 ships and lost 3, but they had rescued their friends and escaped. "Admiral," his aide said quietly, "the other fleet commanders are asking for orders." Zeftal stared at the wreckage floating around his ship. In his 1,000 years of military service, he had never seen anything like what the humans had just done. They had attacked a force 36 times larger than their own, not to win, but to save their friends. "What are your orders, Admiral?" the aide asked again. Zeftal was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that shocked everyone in the command center. "Send a message to Dominion Command. Tell them we need reinforcements." "Reinforcements, Admiral? Against 5 human ships?" "No," Zeftal said, still staring at the wreckage. "Against humans. All of them. Because if 5 ships can do this to my fleet, I do not want to face what their entire species can do." On Earth, Dr. Taewon watched the battle reports with excitement. His theory had worked perfectly. The Dominion fleet had panicked when faced with an enemy that fought beyond all rational limits. "Admiral," he said to Seung-ho, "the psychological warfare is working. Their commanders are starting to fear humans more than they fear defeat." "Good," Seung-ho replied, "because Captain Minji's raids have given us something even more valuable than damaged enemy ships." "What is that?" Seung-ho smiled grimly. "Time. While their fleets chase our raiders, we have been building ships. Lots of ships." Yuna looked up from her intelligence reports. "Admiral, we are intercepting panicked communications from all over Dominion space. Some client species are asking questions about why the mighty Dominion cannot stop a few human ships." "Fear spreads faster than news," Seung-ho said. "And nothing destroys an empire faster than the perception that it is weak." Dr. Taewon nodded. The Dominion's power has always been based on the belief that they cannot be defeated. But Captain Minji and her crew have shown the galaxy that Dominion ships can be destroyed by anyone brave enough to fight back. Or crazy enough, Yuna added, with a smile. In this galaxy, Seong-ho said, looking at the star map that showed. Yuna stared at the intelligence reports on her desk and felt her heart racing. The captured data from the Persistence's latest raid had revealed something incredible about the Dominion's core worlds. "Admiral Seong-ho," she called out as he entered, the intelligence center on Earth. "You need to see this immediately." Seung-ho walked over to her workstation, where holographic displays showed detailed maps of Dominion space. "What did you find?" "The Dominion capital system," Yuna said, pointing to a cluster of heavily defended worlds. "Captain Minji's team managed to steal their military database during the last raid. Look at this." The display changed to show defensive positions around Dominion Prime, the capital world. There were hundreds of space stations, thousands of automated weapons platforms, and entire fleets of warships protecting the planet. "It looks impossible to attack," Seung-ho said. "That is what I thought too," Yuna replied. "But look at this psychological profile data." She touched a control, and new information appeared. The entire Dominion government is based on the idea that their capital can never be threatened. Their whole system of control depends on their core worlds feeling completely safe. Seung-ho studied the data more carefully. "You are saying their strength is also their weakness?" "Exactly. If we could reach their capital and attack it, even with just a small force, it would destroy their image of invincibility. Every client species would see that the Dominion can be hurt." Dr. Taewon entered the room, carrying a tablet full of his latest research. "Admiral, I have more information about Dominion psychology that supports what Yuna is saying." "Tell me," Seung-ho said. Taewon activated his tablet, and brain scan images appeared in the air. "I have been studying captured Dominion officers, and I found something fascinating. When they think about their capital world being attacked, their stress levels go off the charts. It is like humans thinking about Earth being destroyed." "So, an attack on their capital would cause panic?" Seung-ho asked. "More than panic," Taewon said excitedly. "It would cause a complete breakdown in their command structure. Their military commanders are trained to protect the core worlds above everything else. If those worlds are threatened, they will abandon their positions to return home." Yuna nodded. "And that gives us the opening we need to help other species break free from Dominion control." Seung-ho walked to the window and looked up at the ships orbiting Earth. In the past 6 months, human shipyards had been working around the clock to build vessels for the coming war. They now had over 200 warships, a tiny number compared to the Dominion's thousands, but enough for what he was planning. "How many ships would we need to reach Dominion Prime?" he asked. "According to the data Captain Minji captured, we would need at least 50 ships to have any chance of breaking through their defenses," Yuna replied. "And to actually threaten the planet itself?" Taewon looked at his calculations. 30 ships, if they are willing to fight like humans instead of like rational military officers." Seung-ho smiled grimly. "I think we can manage that. Contact Captain Minji. Tell her we are going to give her the backup she has been asking for." 3 weeks later, Captain Minji stood on the bridge of the UES Persistence and watched 30 human warships drop out of faster-than-light travel around her position. It was the largest human fleet ever assembled, and she was going to lead it into the heart of the Dominion. "Captain Minji, this is Admiral Sung-ho," came a voice over the communication system. "I am giving you command of Task Force Freedom. Your mission is to attack Dominion Prime and show the galaxy that no tyranny is safe from human determination." "Understood, Admiral," Minji replied. "All ships, this is your fleet commander. We are about to do something that most people think is impossible. We are going to attack the most heavily defended world in the galaxy with 30 ships. She paused to let that sink in, then continued. "Some of you might be thinking that this is suicide. You are probably right. But remember why we are here. The Dominion has ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years through fear. Today, we show them what humans do to bullies." Captain Jinho's voice came over the communication system from his ship, the UES Determination. "Captain Minji, my crew is ready. We have been waiting months for this." "Captain Doyen reporting in," came another voice. He had survived the battle at Kepler Expanse and was now commanding a new ship, the UES Vengeance. "All weapons loaded and ready to make some noise." One by one, the other ship captains reported ready. These were all veterans of the raids deep in Dominion space, men and women who had learned to fight against impossible odds. "Hyun-soo," Minji said to her tactical officer, "show me the approach to Dominion Prime." The main screen filled with a three-dimensional map of the capital system. The planet itself was surrounded by 3 rings of defenses: automated weapons platforms in the inner ring, space stations with heavy weapons in the middle ring, and patrol fleets in the outer ring. Traditional military strategy would call for us to attack the outer ring first, then work our way in, Hyun-soo explained. But that would give them time to organize a defense. "What do you recommend?" Minji asked. "We go straight through all 3 rings at maximum speed," Hyun-soo said with a grin. "Hit the planet before they realize we are serious about this attack." Ji-won looked up from her engineering station. "Captain, I have been modifying our engines for maximum speed. We can reach the planet in 12 minutes if we ignore the defensive rings completely." "Ignore them?" Minji asked. "Fly right past them," Ji-won explained. "They will shoot at us, and some ships will be destroyed. But the survivors will reach the planet before the defenders can reorganize." Captain Minji thought about this plan. It was exactly the kind of strategy that would terrify Dominion commanders. Direct, aggressive, and completely willing to accept heavy casualties to achieve the objective. "All ships," she announced. "We are going in fast and hard. Our target is not the defensive systems. Our target is the planet itself. Some of us will not survive the approach, but those who do will show the Dominion that nowhere is safe from human justice." The human fleet formed up into a tight formation and began accelerating toward Dominion Prime. Almost immediately, alarms began ringing on every Dominion ship and station in the system. Admiral Krextal, the Supreme Commander of Dominion Home Defense, stared at his tactical display in disbelief. 30 ships? They are attacking our capital with 30 ships? Yes, Admiral, his aide replied. They are approaching at maximum speed and ignoring our outer defense perimeter completely. Signal the outer fleet to intercept, Krextal ordered. Destroy them before they reach the middle ring. But the human ships were not behaving like any enemy Krextal had ever faced. Instead of slowing down to fight the outer fleet, they accelerated. Even more, trading weapons fire with the Dominion ships as they flew past at incredible speed. Sir, 3 human ships have been destroyed, but the rest are still coming, reported the tactical officer. They will reach the middle ring in 6 minutes. All stations, concentrate fire on the human fleet, Krextal ordered. Stop them at any cost. The space around the middle ring lit up with weapons fire as hundreds of space stations and defensive platforms shot at the approaching human ships. 5 more human ships exploded, but the rest kept coming, their shields blazing with absorbed energy. They are not even trying to destroy our stations, the tactical officer said with confusion. They are just flying past everything. What are they trying to accomplish? Krextal demanded. On the bridge of the Persistence, Captain Minji watched the defensive fire all around them and felt strangely calm. Ships were exploding on both sides of her, but her crew was performing perfectly. Inner ring in 2 minutes, Hyunsu reported. We have lost 8 ships, but 22 are still operational. Captain, Jiwon called out, the planet's defensive. Grid is powering up. They have enough firepower to destroy our entire fleet. Good, Minji said. That means they are scared. All ships, prepare for orbital bombardment. Target government buildings only. We are not here to kill civilians. The 22 surviving human ships burst through the inner defensive ring like bullets through paper. The automated weapons platforms were designed to stop large invasion fleets, not small groups of ships moving at maximum speed. We are in orbit, Hyunsu announced, beginning bombardment of government targets. The human ships opened fire on the planet below. But instead of trying to destroy cities, they targeted empty government buildings, military bases, and communication centers. Bright explosions bloomed across the surface of Dominion Prime as the symbols of alien power were destroyed. This is Captain Minji of the human fleet, she broadcast on all Dominion frequencies. We are not here to conquer your world. We are here to show you that your government cannot protect you. Every species in this galaxy now knows that humans can reach any world, destroy any target, and escape before you can stop us. Admiral Krextal watched in horror as his planet burned. All ships, attack the human fleet immediately! But it was too late. The human ships had already destroyed their primary targets and were accelerating away from the planet. The massive Dominion fleet was too slow to catch ships that had been modified for maximum speed. Sir, the tactical officer said quietly, the humans are escaping. We cannot catch them. How many ships did we lose? Krextal asked. Chancellor Krextor stood in what had once been the most powerful room in the galaxy, the Dominion High Council chamber. Now it felt empty and cold. Half the chairs around the great table were vacant, abandoned by species that had declared independence after the human attack on Dominion Prime. The humans have agreed to meet with us, reported Commander Vex Thule, his scaled face showing exhaustion. They will arrive tomorrow. Krextor looked at the tactical display showing the current state of the Dominion. Red areas marked worlds in revolt. Yellow areas showed worlds that had stopped paying taxes, and only small green areas remained fully under Dominion control. "How many fleets do we have left?" Krextor asked. 40% of our military has returned to defend the core worlds," Vexthul replied. "Another 30% has been destroyed or damaged by human raids and revolting client species. The remaining 30% is scattered and trying to maintain order." "And the humans? They have been joined by 12 other species that have formed what they call the Freedom Alliance. Together, they have over 1,000 ships." Krextor sat down heavily in his chair. In just 6 months, the mighty Dominion had collapsed from a 1,000-year empire to a collection of frightened worlds huddled around their capital. "What do the humans want?" he asked. Vexthul checked his tablet. According to their message, they want to discuss the immediate and permanent end to Dominion tyranny. They also said something else. "What?" "They said there will be no negotiations, no terms and no compromise. They will tell us what is going to happen and we will accept it." Krextor laughed bitterly. Even in defeat, they refused to follow civilized rules of warfare. The next day, Admiral Seung-ho walked into the Dominion Council chamber, followed by Captain Minji, Dr. Taewon, and Yuna. Behind them came representatives from the 12 species that had joined the Freedom Alliance. Seung-ho looked around the chamber and noted the empty chairs. "Where is the rest of your council, Chancellor?" "Gone," Krextor said simply. "Most of our client species have either joined your alliance or declared independence. We represent what is left of the Dominion." "Good," Seung-ho said, sitting down across from the Chancellor. "That will make this meeting shorter." Dr. Taewon placed a device on the table, and holographic images filled the air above it. The images showed Dominion military bases, slave labor camps, and conquered worlds throughout the galaxy. "For 1,000 years, Seung-ho said, the Dominion has ruled through fear and oppression. You have enslaved entire species, stolen their resources, and destroyed anyone who opposed you. That ends today." Chancellor Krextor leaned forward. "Admiral, surely we can reach some kind of agreement. The Dominion can reform. We can change our methods." "No," Captain Minji said simply. "There is no reform. There is no compromise. The Dominion is finished." Commander Vexthul's snake-like eyes narrowed. "And what gives you the right to decide the fate of our government?" Yuna smiled and activated another hologram. This one showed the attack on Dominion Prime, with human ships flying through supposedly impossible defenses and striking at the heart of alien power. "The right of those who refuse to be slaves," she said. "The right of those who fight back against bullies. The right of those who never surrender." Dr. Taewon stood up and walked to the display showing Dominion territory. "Your empire is based on the psychology of submission. Your client species served you because they believed you were too strong to defeat, but humans showed them the truth. You are not invincible. You are just another group of bullies who prey on the weak." "So what happens now?" Krextor asked. "Do you plan to conquer us the way we conquered others?" Admiral Seung-ho shook his head. Humans do not want to rule other species. We want to be free, and we want everyone else to be free too. He activated another control, and the hologram changed to show a new map of the galaxy. The red areas marking Dominion control were gone, replaced by green areas showing independent worlds. Every former Dominion world will govern itself, Seung-ho explained. No more taxes to distant rulers, no more forced labor, no more suppression of local cultures. Each species will be free to choose its own path. Commander Vex Thul looked confused. But who will maintain order? Who will protect trade routes? Who will prevent wars between species? The Freedom Alliance, Captain Minji said. Any world that wants to remain free can join us. Any world that tries to conquer others will face the same fate as the Dominion. And us? Chancellor Krextor asked quietly. What happens to the Dominion core worlds? You will govern yourselves just like everyone else, Seung-ho replied. But there are conditions. Dr. Taewon pulled out a tablet and began reading. All military forces will be reduced to what is needed for local defense only. All weapons of mass destruction will be destroyed. All slave labor camps will be closed and the workers freed. All stolen resources will be returned to their original owners. And if we refuse? Vex Thul asked. Yuna smiled coldly. Then Captain Minji and her fleet will visit every Dominion world and explain the new rules in person. We have found that humans are very good at convincing people to see reason. The room was quiet for a long moment. Finally, Chancellor Krextor spoke. How do we know you will not become like us? How do we know that in 100 years, the Freedom Alliance will not be another empire? Admiral Seung-ho considered this question seriously. Because humans learned something that you never did. We learned that the only way to stay free is to make sure everyone else is free too. Empires always collapse eventually. Freedom lasts forever. Captain Minji stood up and walked to the window that looked out over Dominion Prime. The planet's surface still showed scars from the human bombardment, but people were already rebuilding. Chancellor, she said without turning around, let me tell you something about humans. We are persistence hunters. We never stop chasing our prey, but once we catch it, we do not eat it. We let it go free as long as it promises not to hunt the innocent anymore. She turned back to face the Dominion leaders. The Dominion is our prey, and we have caught you. Now we are letting you go free. Do not make us hunt you again. 2 years later, Admiral Minji stood on the bridge of her flagship, the UES Liberation, and watched a new kind of ship being launched from the orbital shipyards above Earth. This ship was not a warship. It was an exploration vessel designed to search for new worlds beyond the edge of the galaxy. Admiral, said Captain Yansu from his position as her second-in-command, we are receiving signals from the Outer Rim. 3 more species have requested to join the Freedom Alliance. Approved, Minji said. Send them the standard welcome package and offer any assistance they need. Ji-won looked up from her engineering station. Admiral, the new exploration ship is ready for launch. Captain Mira is requesting permission to begin her mission to the Galactic Core. Minji smiled as she remembered the young navigator who had served with Captain Jinho during humanity's first contact with the Dominion. Now Mira was a captain herself, leading humanity's push into unknown space. Permission granted. Tell Captain Mira that if she launches, she does not have to return. But she can if she wants to. Hyun-soo laughed. The motto has changed a bit since the war ended. The war changed everything, Minji replied. But some things about humans will never change. On Earth, Dr. Taewon was giving a lecture to young officers at the military academy. The students listened carefully as he explained the psychological principles that had helped humanity defeat the Dominion. The key was understanding that most species in this galaxy evolved from prey animals, he said. Their instinct when faced with overwhelming force is to submit and survive, but humans evolved as predators. Our instinct when faced with overwhelming force is to fight harder. A student raised her hand. Dr. Taewon, what about species that evolved as predators like us? Are there any others? Taewon smiled. We have found a few, but they are rare. Most predator species destroy themselves before they reach the stars. Humans are unusual because we learn to work together despite our aggressive nature. Another student asked, what happens if we meet a species that is more aggressive than humans? Then we will do what humans always do, Taewon replied. We will adapt, we will learn, and we will find a way to survive. Because that is what humans are, the species that never gives up. In the former Dominion capital, Yuna now served as the ambassador from the Freedom Alliance. Her job was to help former Dominion worlds transition to self-governance and to watch for any signs that old imperial attitudes were returning. The transition is going well, she reported to Admiral Sung-ho during their weekly communication. Most former client species are thriving under self-rule. Trade between worlds has actually increased now that the Dominion is not taxing everything. Any problems? Sung-ho asked. A few worlds are having trouble adjusting to democracy after centuries of authoritarian rule. But the younger generation is adapting quickly. Children who grow up free think differently than children who grow up as subjects. And the former Dominion core worlds? Yuna smiled. They are some of our strongest supporters now. It turns out that most Dominion citizens were just as unhappy with their government as the client species were. Freedom is popular everywhere. On a distant world at the edge of former Dominion space, Captain Jinho was helping a newly independent species set up their own defense.